5 years ago, I realized with shocking clarity that our freedoms in this country were no longer guaranteed. I was a registered nurse at the time and a small business owner, working hard to raise my 4 children and provide them with a better future than I had. I wanted nothing to do with politics. At that time, we were experiencing COVID-19 lockdowns, and I realized with shocking urgency that our constitutional rights were being overruled by a governing elite. And even now, they have no intention to stop their egregious accumulation of power and control over us. Government, originally created of, by, and for the people, had vacuumed so much power that today it is a threat to our own safety and prosperity. I pondered who would fight back for us, and I knew then that I couldn't stay on the sidelines. I was just a normal citizen from Portage County who realized that in order to preserve my children's future, I had to enter politics where the fate of our nation was hanging by a thread. Who was going to fight for us if I was unwilling? I conquered all fear and burst through barriers to be able to run for office. We're in a situation where we can no longer act as if it's politics as usual. We are witnessing an attack on the very fabric of this nation, everything that the nation was founded upon, and the preservation of liberty, self-governance, and individual sovereignty. I became a volunteer grassroots activist as the state communications director for an Article 5 nonprofit organization, and I locked arms with 100,000 patriots across Ohio to limit the scope, power, and jurisdiction of the federal government. I testified in the Senate to raise the alarm and encourage our state legislature to engage in our effort. I was quickly recruited to the national team, and I served as the National Grassroots Media Director for that organization. I led 870 patriots across the country in their effort to support 5.3 million grassroots activists in all 50 states. My job was to equip, empower, and train the grassroots army fighting to take back our country and return power to the state and local levels, and ultimately to each of you. I worked with state legislators from Hawaii to Virginia, Alaska to Florida, with a laser focus on preserving our God-given right to live free. I am a grassroots candidate with a fire in my soul to save my country. I believe in the words of the Declaration of Independence, that we find these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. I believe those we elect or report to us, and that is the glorious power of a free people. I am here to reveal the truth of where we stand in Portage County in this race for state representative. I am running for office because our current representative has betrayed us and sided with every Democrat in the House to choose their speaker. You all know by now what that has cost us. It earned Representative Pavliga a censure by the Ohio Republican Party, who just last weekend refused to endorse her candidacy. What you may not realize is that Representative Pavliga has sponsored a bill in the Ohio House that uses taxpayer-funded federal voucher programs to build housing units across Ohio. And according to the congressional record, they have no eligibility criteria to prohibit illegal immigrants from moving into these units. She is working to bring the border invasion to our backyards. Last November, President Biden vowed to build housing units for the illegals flooding our southern border. All this while we watch veterans across our country being thrown into the streets to house illegals. It is important to realize that Gal Pavliga voted against Senate Bill 83, which would eradicate illegal diversity, equity, and inclusion from our institutions of higher learning. She has not taken a stand to defend the Second Amendment Preservation Act on House Bill 51 and preserve our constitutional right to bear arms. She voted against medical billing transparency in House Bill 49, despite nearly every House legislator voting in favor. She voted to increase energy costs with House Bill 205. My question is, whose agenda is she pushing? We need to understand tonight who we want to represent us in the Ohio House. Someone who is sleepwalking the Democratic agenda through the Ohio House, or someone who is new to the political scene with a proven record of fighting for freedom and the determination to see it through. My name is Heidi Workman, and I ask that you stand with me and vote for me on March 19th.